Today is Friday, April 11th, and today I learned something that is a little different than what I usually talk about on these videos. I usually talk about like productivity and self-improvement and Christianity and all those kinds of things. But today I learned something that is beneficial in a more from a more business perspective. Like if you want to sell anything, I guess. At some point I do want to monetize this YouTube channel and down the road. So I've been trying to learn a lot about that recently and just about building a personal brand and building a business overall. Today I just learned something that really was kind of like a wake-up call for me in terms of that kind of selling things standpoint. But I do think that there is a more general applicable aspect to this, other than if you don't want to sell something, if you're not like an entrepreneur, personal brand, businessy kind of person, no shame, first of all, because I do feel like media, a lot of the social media that I see is oh, you have to build a business, build a personal brand. I don't think it's necessary, so no shame on you if you don't want to do that. Basically, what I learned today is that if you want to sell something, then you need to solve a problem. That is what I learned today. And I think this is a very basic business concept, just solving problems. And I know that if you want to sell something, you're either selling a product or a service. But no matter what it is, you're trying to solve a problem. And I'm signed up to this newsletter about building businesses and YouTube and stuff like that. And in the newsletter he was saying people won't buy interesting. And that was really helpful for me, because a lot of times I've always just had this hope that people would buy interesting. If I make interesting videos, then people would buy interesting. But that's just not true a lot of times. People buy solutions, right? A lot of the things you buy are a solution to a problem you have, no matter how general it is, right? In back when phones weren't so developed as they were now, the problem it was solving was just communicating with other people, right? This YouTube channel, I'm trying to solve a problem of helping people who I know are out there, because I have relationships with those kinds of people in real life, and I just want to help people. And also there's a problem of the gospel is not being shared enough, right? And I have this opportunity to do that, so I'm trying to solve that problem. There's so many problems basically. And a business or a product or anything you're trying to sell, anything you're trying to not even just sell, because these videos, I'm not trying to sell these videos to you. I'm just trying to help people. I'm just trying to solve a problem for you, right? So what I've been learning is that just if you want to sell something, or if you want someone to listen to you, then you need to solve a problem. From a business perspective, right? If you are an entrepreneurial mind, personal brand, building a business, if you have that kind of mind I do, solve a problem. I'm trying to work on building really good products and really good, just honestly right now I'm trying to work on building really good digital products, and I'm trying to just, what is the problem and how am I going to solve it in a really good way, in a really valuable and helpful and very comprehensive way. Just cover everything and just solve the entire problem. Now obviously a lot of problems aren't solvable, but from my point of view, as I'm trying to build a personal brand and hopefully start selling and monetizing this, I'm just really need to focus on solving problems. And if you have the same ambitions, then you really need to focus on solving problems. Every video I make is a solution to a certain kind of problem, even if it's not clear, right? Even if it's not clear. And so I want to make whatever I sell, it's got to be a solution to a problem. Now, if you've stuck around, first of all, thanks. Consider liking and subscribing. But for people who aren't necessarily an entrepreneur or a personal brand person or whatever, how can we apply this mindset of solving problems for people? Right now, in the corporate world, I don't have a corporate job or anything. I'm in high school, so I don't really know what it's like. But I do think that in traditional 9-to-5 jobs, solving problems, that's what you're doing. A lot of, at least as far as I know, a lot of the work that people do in your job is just solving problems. And I know it's because or partly I know this because for a long time I wanted to just be a software engineer, right? And literally software engineering is all about solving problems. Like, code is just solving problems and finding solutions to these problems. So I do think that, like, just in general, like in a traditional job, like, solving problems is a huge part of what you're doing, right? Honestly, solving problems is just everything. Solving problems is a important skill no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're building a business, no matter if you are in just a traditional job, if you're trying to learn a new skill. Everything has to do with solving problems. Everything has to do with solving problems. And now let's define what solving problems is, right? Solving a problem is like something that is like an inconvenience, a blockage in a way, a obstacle that blocks your path from doing something. So for an example, I've been watching a lot of like woodworking videos recently, and so much of it is problem solving. Like they have a plan, they have a vision, and then they try to execute on that plan, and then they encounter a problem, and then they have to improvise in a way, and they have to solve that problem. They have to get rid of that blockage and continue on their path. So solving problems is important, and it just matters what path are you on. So today I learned that that if someone is on like an entrepreneurial path, they will have problems that need to be solved. If someone is on a productivity path, they will have problems they need to solve. No matter what path you're on, right? Productivity, spiritual, right? Physical health, traditional jobs, learning new skills, you need to learn how to solve problems. You need to learn how to solve problems. And I do think that that is honestly a big part of what I want this channel to be. Moving forward, I'm just trying to help you guys solve problems and build and learn that skill of how to solve problems. And I think I am down in the pipeline somewhere I want to make some kind of worksheet or template to help solve problems more generally, just a general framework that I'm working on. But that's later on. But yeah, solving problems is just such an important skill and such an important thing that you need to learn how to do, because you're going to encounter problems in literally everything. And if you want to continue on whatever path, then you're going to need to overcome these obstacles, no matter how big or daunting they are, no matter how big these problems are. So what I learned today is that solving problems is important. And if you learn how to solve a certain problem, then other people will also have those same problems, which means you can share those problems with other people and they will give you something in return, i.e. money. And that's kind of what I learned today, because like I mentioned at the beginning, like I learned this because I've been trying to learn more about like building a business and like entrepreneurial, like personal brand, monetizing, all of that kind of stuff, right? And I learned that like I need to solve, like, you can use your own solutions to help other people with their own problems, because we will all know one person is going to have a singular problem that no one else has ever experienced before, right? There's like 8 billion people on this earth. That's just not probable, right? What is the probability of that? 1 in 8 billion. Actually, no, it's definitely way more than that. So whatever problem you have, someone else has also had that problem. So if you find a solution to that problem, then share it. For me, I'm just trying to be more aware of what problems am I solving, and I'm trying to think of, like, at the end of each day, like, what problem did I solve today? And maybe how can I share that with someone else, whether that is through just like with my sibling, or like a friend, like, oh, I had this problem and I know they have that problem too, so let me just share that with them so they can fix their own problem, right? Or is my problem more widespread, and can I share it with my audience? Can I share it with you guys, right? So hopefully today you learned about the importance of of problem solving, and just, yeah, the importance of problem solving and how we can use that to our advantage, and how it can be shared with others and repeated. And hopefully somewhere down the pipeline, I'm going to build a comprehensive framework for solving problems down the road. So what problem did you solve today? Bit of an interesting question. What problem did you solve today? I'd love to hear in the comments. That's what I learned today. Hopefully you found this video helpful, If you did, then I would love a like or a comment. Join my Discord server if you want to discuss what I talk about in these videos and just discuss like what you guys have been learning today, your wins, your struggles, questions, whatever. Link is in the description. It's called Students of Life. This is the video that I posted yesterday. I actually feel really good about this one. It's about thinking about tasks as debt, and I feel like the analogy works really well, so that's right there. You can subscribe in that corner, and if you subscribe, I will see you in tomorrow's video.